What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 145 of the Engineers That Filters podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson, and tonight I'm drinking an Aldi beer. I got the White Tide Belgian White, and I had it the other night. It's not that good. would not
It
recommend.
looks a lot like the Blue Moon.
I was gonna
from
say.
first glance. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they're taking some hints from Blue Moon, but Aldi beer is a gamble. And
it is.
Yeah, I'm not getting snake eyes, but I'm not getting double sixes either, so it's fine.
Is it a wheat ale?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely their Blue Moon.
Well, I saw the label and I'm like, that's Blue Moon.
Yeah, that's what
well, listen to this. A Belgian white ale with orange peel and coriander. So it's a straight up Blue Moon copy here.
It's trying to be Blue Moon.
That's fair. I mean, you gotta. It's Blue Moon's like a somewhat of a staple, so I can understand it.
Yeah, it's a solid beer. It's probably a third of the price, so
Yeah,
I can't complain too much.
and apparently less than a third of the taste.
Yeah. Anyway,
And
what are you
then-
drinking, Joseph?
I'm Joseph, and I'm drinking Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA.
Oh, I just drank that
And-
like a week ago.
This is the first case of it I've ever bought, I realized. And I think the
What?
first time I've actually had it. This is like near the end of the case. I've been going through them. They're really good. Solid IPA.
Mm-hmm.
So can't.
I can't remember. Do they have like other time intervals?
90
For
and
the
120.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are just longer, more
It's
alcohol.
the 120 double IPA because that'd be
120 is literally like 19%.
Jesus.
that's
Christ.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it? It's like how long they dry hop it, right?
Yeah.
Continually
Oh, I thought
hop,
it'd be like.
Yeah, continually hop for 60 minutes for an
Mhm.
intense yet enticing hop-centric experience, says the can.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I would assume it'd be like, this is the amount of time you should take to drink this.
No.
It's like 90% take 2 hours to drink it.
I feel like a 19% beer is not really a beer anymore. at
It's
that point.
really not that good. I bought one
Yeah.
for my dad 2 Christmases ago.
Mhm.
Because it was like $10 a bottle or something like that, and bought it for him, and he's like, "You're helping me drink this," and I'm like, "Fuck." And I literally
Damn it.
poured myself like a I don't know, maybe like a 4-ounce pour or something like that. I had to sip that for an entire hour, and it still put me on my ass.
Sounds like it's worth $10 for a bottle though.
It didn't taste good though, because like a
Okay.
beer that strong is
It
just
wasn't
like
pleasurable.
Super, no, it's just super alcoholic.
Was it worse than that garbage beer Gabe's dad got him?
Yeah,
for
I was just gonna bring that up.
Your
It's-
21st.
It was called Barely
how I called it.
Legal.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that
I put a lot
Because
of
it was
those
like
back.
it was the brewery's like 21st anniversary or something. I don't know. I don't think it was 21% though, but it was not.
something like that.
It was something way too
was up
fucking
there.
high. Yeah, and Dayton got so blasted off of one of those.
Well, I was shotgunning them.
Yeah, that's right. You totally shock. Oh my
Straw
god.
it. Yeah.
With the straw, yeah.
Just
Oh
thinking
my
back
God,
to
that
that,
was
like it was kind of fun in hindsight. I won't lie.
That's a word for it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'd be worse tasting because it's an IPA, right? Or than that like 90% stout I had at the Brass Tap. Because good lord, that was horrible. Just
I don't know.
at that
man.
point, it's just you're taking a shot,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd rather take a shot for at 19%, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And it didn't help too. Like that was my 21st birthday, so like I knew Blue Moon and PBR. So like going from
Yeah.
those two to like some,
This is a real beer.
yeah. I was like, is this what like people drink? I don't know.
God, could you imagine your first beer being a barely legal? Jesus
Oh.
Christ, you'd never drink again.
I would never. I don't think my dad ever had it. He just got it because of the name. But I wouldn't put that on anyone, like intentionally. You know.
Not on my
I'll
first
do it
enemy.
again. It's like that meme. Want to see me do it again?
yeah. Maybe I should go buy some this weekend and try it again. We'll see.
Maybe you
We'll
should.
see.
Anyways,
getting any
I'm
help from me
Gabe,
to
and
please
speaking
those.
of buying things, I haven't bought beer yet, even since the last episode, so I have no beer. So I have a G and T, and instead of tea, it's some Serum Mist that came with some food that I never drank 3 months ago.
Nice.
Jesus Christ, Gabe.
It's not good. I made it really strong. So
Nice.
by the end of the episode, I'm saying shit that's dumber than usual. You know why?
And I am Dayton, and I actually have a new beer for once. It is the Tilted Barn Brewery Grow IPA. And I went to this brewery for the first time, like, I think it was actually just last Saturday, actually. And very cool brewery. It's like a farm to table sort of like area. And yeah, like they have some IPAs. So this one is a 6.3% unfiltered IPA. It's very good. And what's weird about the brewery is that for some reason Rhode Island state law is like you can only serve like 36 ounces of beer per person, like per day. So they
What?
would give you the
Like
pours.
per establishment?
Yeah. So I've never heard of that before.
Uh-huh.
So like they serve their drinks to you in 12-ounce pours, so then you can get 3 of them instead of like getting, what would that be, like two in like a 10-ounce pour.
Yeah, it'd be, the math
two, like,
wouldn't be good.
Yeah, it would be shitty. So like, yeah, you get them in 12-ounce pours, but I had 2 of them. I had got this, and then I got another IPA, and I like this one the best. So
I think maybe they made up that rule for you. You came in like, this guy's trouble. We gotta limit his alcohol content.
Like you could unleash some chaos.
I would feel bad though. That place was too nice. It had too many lights.
Too many lights.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. As always, you can find us on Monday mornings on YouTube and podcast services. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitch. Links are in the description below. Yeah, let's get into our weekly updates, and I'm gonna go first because I also went to a new brewery last weekend.
Oh.
It's very new because me and Lissa went and we checked the Google like reviews beforehand. It's like all 5 stars, which you never see, and the oldest review was like a month ago. So like, okay, this place has got to be very fresh, and it's called Naptronics, and it was science themed, and I think I'm just stupid. I can't put the pieces together on the name and the science theme. Naptronics with a KN at the front. But it was kind of cool because we got a flight and they served it in like beakers, which was kind of a neat thing. But we went in there and we checked the list, and we weren't necessarily getting a flight. But then I looked at the list, Joseph, and they had 3 sours on it. I'm like, okay, we're getting a flight because I gotta try these bad boys. And it was a really, really good brewery. Like they had some solid ass beer. One of their sours was a cherry limeade sour. That shit was tasty as shit. It like smacked the back of your teeth. It was so sweet and sour. But they also had a very like good hazy like Citra hops IPA. So that shit was nice. Big fan of Naptronics. We going back there.
Awesome.
And then also, so I don't know if I was on the podcast. But off the podcast, I've complained to you guys about how I've lived in this apartment now for over a year, like a year and a half. It has some quirks. One of them being my shower doesn't get hot. Like it gets like lukewarm at best. And you know, could I put in a maintenance request many months ago? Yeah. But Dayton knows I have this thing where when I go through doors, I forget shit. So I'm in the bathroom, freezing my ass off in the shower, like in my mind, just complaining. As soon as I leave the bathroom, totally forget about it. So I finally put in a maintenance request this week to get this goddamn shower fixed. And I felt like such an idiot because I came in and fixed it in less than 3 minutes. Literally, like he just had to adjust it so I could turn the knob farther to get to like the hot water. For some reason, that stopped before I could get there. Boys, hot showers are nice. I've been missing hot showers, especially in the winter. Goddamn, it has been a glorious week. And it's good and bad because previously the cold showers make me like take less like shorter showers, which is better because I tend to be in there for a while. But now I'm back, baby. I'm taking 20-minute showers in the heat. It's fantastic. We're having a good time. So those are the main 2 things that happened to me this week.
Man.
But yeah, Gabe, what do you got going on lately?
Oh man. I also went to a brewery I hadn't been to before. A couple new bars around Northeast. It's pretty good. I went snowboarding for the first time this season.
Oh, you guys get a lot of snow?
No. We have a big storm coming tomorrow, supposedly. Well, we'll see. But a guy that I work with, he ski patrols at this place, so he's like, swing by, I'll give you some free passes. Check it out. So, uh, went out there and they only had like, I think it was more of a park hill. Like they had a lot of like park stuff, but they only had like 2 runs open. So I went down them like 10 times and I was like, okay, I'm done. Because there's just so many people because it did snow the day before, but it wasn't enough really to stick a ton. So I think a lot of people are like, it's gonna be a pow day and
Yeah.
the metro. So it took like literally, I'm not exaggerating. I checked on my watch like over 10 minutes to get up. And then I mean the runs are it's smaller. Like you just scratch
Yeah.
stitch like 30 seconds tops to get down, you know? So after like 10 runs, I was like, all right, I'm done. But I mean, I'm so glad that I got to go and kind of scratch the itch a little bit and
Yeah. Nice.
gonna be going up to the UP here in a hot sec. Hopefully do some more snowboarding. Meet up with my dad, so it should be fun. Also tried to get back into the dating game, so that's been taking up a lot of my free time. So
We talked before, but have you done a voice memo on Hinge yet?
no, I refuse.
God damn. Yeah, I saw some great ones on TikTok today from some guys that were hilarious.
I know there's some funny ones, but I don't know. I've been doing the podcast for how long? Like how long have we been doing this? 3 years?
Almost 3 years.
I still hate my
45
fucking voice,
episodes.
guys. Like I can't fucking stand it. Like I don't know if anybody could hear it and be like, that guy sounds cool. Like I don't think that's possible. Like so
Well, here's a possible way to get out of that game. I saw one today on TikTok. His guy's name was Bruce, and it was like how to pronounce my name. And he just played the clip from Finding Nemo,
that's
Bruce the
pretty
shark,
good.
and
Yeah.
it was funny, you know.
Yeah.
So you can get creative with it.
Yeah, no, I haven't, and I don't know if I will. I've seen some pretty bad ones, and some like very few okay ones, you know. Because I think it's awkward regardless. I mean, our generation and the younger generations are a lot better like standing in front of a camera and talking, in general. But like I think it's still weird, just like sitting in a room and like recording a question. Like I don't know, it almost feels like an interview.
I'm doing that right now. You're literally doing that right now.
I know, but like it's different because the audience. I don't know. I can't explain it. Dave, back me
No,
up. Here,
yeah,
please.
no, I agree completely. Like I have listened to all of our voices for so many hours, and like I'm very used to just like listening to people like talk and them complain about like how like their voice sounds and stuff like that. But with Hinge, it's different because I feel like these voice prompts should be an opportunity to be funny. Okay, like they should be like an opportunity to show off like your humor and how you talk and that sort of thing. All the girls that I've seen that have done them, it's like it's the most generic shit ever, and it's like this is like the one thing that I ask of you, and it's just like, and they just talk and they're just like that you're honest, and it's just like
Yeah.
I just type that out. Like I am not getting anything
Yeah.
extra from that. Maybe that you like can't talk into a microphone. I don't know, but
No,
I don't
see,
know.
that's a screening tool thing. Then you know that person's probably boring. That's a red flag. Get them on here. Because if they do succeed in being funny, then you're like, boom, green flag. Let's go.
I guess,
You
but
You
I
gotta
don't-
have the mediocre just to get the exemplary.
I feel like it's really hard to be entertaining in a vacuum. Like to
It
record
is.
something
Yeah,
and
sure.
like have it be a joke. Like at least like when I say something and you guys don't react, I'm like, okay, that joke fucking bombed, didn't work, whatever. But, like if it works, I know it fucking works. So like I could be on Hinge and
Yeah.
be like, this is fucking hilarious, and then
Right.
like every person who looks at it is like, that's fucking cringy. I'm
Yeah.
out, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You have no
but if you're being
feedback.
yourself, then who cares?
okay,
you know?
be yourself, whatever. But still, like I don't know. Like,
I don't know
That's
about
like-
that whole thing, because sometimes when I'm my like full 100% self, I don't even like myself. So
I don't know.
Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
there's a fine line, and I just feel, I don't know, generally uncomfortable, like recording myself in a room by myself. I don't know. Even though I'm talking to you guys in a room by
no,
myself.
see,
I
agree.
get the irony.
It is so different too, because like when I record little like snippets, just like talking to like my like PC, like if I have to like make like an editor's note or something like that, like if we had some audio issue, or for like your guys'
Yeah.
birthday projects, and like I like talk, it feels so forced, and I have to really I have to like really like script it out and any like pause, I'm just like, why did I fucking do that? And like I just overthink it so much. Like it's just it's a vastly different feeling.
Maybe Dayton and I should just like put our phones up to our speakers while we're playing the podcast, and just like a joke that we had that we know is really good, and just like put it right up.
Get the one of Gabe saying, you know that scene in Spider-Man where his Spidey suit is hanging off and it's all dangly shrangly. That's what my underwear looks like.
What if I just took the birthday project you gave me? For context, we've talked about this before, but every year Dayton will take an amalgamation of the stupid shit we say and try and make a plot out of it for our birthday. And he took the episode where I was talking about how I need new underwear and like ran with it.
Dude, honestly,
But, like,
Gabe, I think that could be a good prompt.
Like
for
just
you.
putting it all together.
I'm vetoing that shit immediately.
I don't know, dude.
No.
What's the one that was like,
I'm
Dave, do
vetoing
it.
his veto.
Yeah. Like, get out there and do it. Now you're like, no.
Not
Lame,
that
man.
specifically. Also, I'm a hypocrite because like you said, there are people in our generation that are so comfortable. It's insane to me. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have a friend about high school
TikTok
with,
is
and
a great
she'll.
example.
That's a perfect example. Even that, like beyond that, I have a friend about high school with who she'll just walk around town talking into her phone, like with people walking by. I'm just like, how do you have the confidence to do that? Like, and you can think it out. Like, nobody gives a shit, so like it's fine. But you know, the social anxiety is like, no, I can't bother anybody by talking out like on the street or whatever. But I will say, Gabe, when I get back on dating apps in January, I am going to try to be funny on a voice prompt, and
All right.
I'll see if I can't succeed. I probably won't, but I'm gonna give it a
You
shot.
have to share it on the podcast.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
I already have an idea for one, but I don't know if there's a prompt.
No,
that it
don't
fits yet, so-
spoil it. Make
I won't
them
spoil
wait
it. I won't
next
spoil
week or the week after or whatever.
Yeah,
Just keep
for
listening.
Sure. Keep listening. Joseph, how's your week?
My week was good. Like I mentioned before the podcast, I saw a concert that I've been waiting for a while. I saw Dawes live.
Nice.
Really enjoyed it. Went with my friend Cooper and Alyssa, and it was overall a great time. We didn't stay for the whole concert because we wanted to take a bus back rather than Ubers. We saved a bunch of money, so we missed part of the ending. But it's like, whatever. You know, it wasn't a huge blow. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Other than it being fucking cold recently, I think we had like a high of, was it like 6 on Monday or something?
Jesus
It
Christ.
was-
I think that's exaggerating. I think it was lower.
Yeah. Yeah. So Monday was
feels
fun.
like was in the negatives
Yeah.
for a
All-
hot minute.
For most of the day from what I remember.
Yeah.
And then today was the warmest, and I think my car driving back said like low 30s.
Yeah.
So-
It was like 34.
Yeah, so it's warmed up a little bit, but we'll see how long it stays.
You know what I mean, we're in winter now, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Like here, it's gonna be like 60 on Sunday, which is insane to me. We're halfway through December. It's gonna be fucking 60 degrees out in Indiana.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I know. I was talking to my dad, and he was saying like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be 40 degrees next week." I'm like, "That sounds awesome." Like, I am well below that. Like, it is just fucking brutal.
Well, I have such mixed feelings just 'cause I like the nice weather, but also it's like this is clear climate change shit, which makes me scared.
Yeah.
It's like sad and scared. So it's like, you know, pros and cons.
Mhm.
But anyway, Dayton, you got anything exciting happen to you?
Let's see, what did I do? Yeah, I went to a new brewery. Actually, the reason I went to the new brewery is because I went on another date. With
Same girl?
Same girl. Yep.
Oh baby,
Did she
getting
like
serious.
your voice prompt?
I don't know. I don't have a voice prompt. Maybe I should make one just for shits and giggles. Maybe we'll see.
You should do your chaos voice. Chaos.
Chaos.
I can't even try to impersonate it.
And then before that, I woke up early, as I do on Saturday mornings, pounded an energy drink, got to work on a whole bunch of various projects, some that are to be announced, but you can probably guess based on the timeline of the year. Wink, wink, Joseph. And worked on my motorcycle a little bit. Finished up a project at work that I've been working on for a long time just today.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff.
How's the weather out there for you right now?
It snowed for the first time yesterday. So a little bit snowy today, but not bad. It was like in like the 30s today.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We're not quite getting to nasty shit yet, but I'm sure we will.
Nope.
All right, well, before we get into the topic, I have an announcement to make, as I teased at the end of last week's episode, if we made it all the way to the end. If you remember from the bullshit bracket in March, our friend Alex Perkins was on that. Me and him have started a new podcast called the Red String Movie Podcast. That the trailer is out now. You can find it in podcast feeds, and it'll be dropping every Friday. Me and Perkins will be reviewing a movie every week, and our gimmick is that every movie we review will be connected to the previous one way or another. So like a similar actor, or the same director, or same cinematographer. Every single movie will be connected to kind of a long string, kind of like Charlie Day and Always Sunny with the big conspiracy board. So yeah, if you like movies and like hear people talk about movies, you can go check that out. The Red String Movie Podcast, out now on podcast services, except maybe Apple. I remember back when we started to get this podcast up and running, Gabe like bitching and whining about Apple Podcasts, and I kind of remember that. I'm like, Apple probably wasn't that bad. Me doing it, I'm like, fuck Apple, dude. It's such the biggest pay. They made me download iTunes to activate the goddamn Apple account, and I hate it. But
Oh, I love to hear that. I mean, I hate to hear it, but I love to hear it. It's some vindication, you know?
So fucking annoying. But hopefully by the time you're hearing this, it'll be up on Apple Podcasts, already on Spotify and stuff like that. So yeah, come check it out. Watch movies with us. We're trying to make it so every movie we watch is on streaming services. So theoretically, it'd be free for people to watch if they're subscribed to most of them. But yeah, if you like movies, come out and support it, and we'll have a good time with it.
So Jacob, I have a question for you. So with this podcast, are you doing so like at the end of each episode, are you going to be announcing what next week's movie is going to be?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. So yeah, we'll review the movie, and then so the search is first half is the movie we reviewed. Second half is any else we watched that week we want to talk about, and then the last bit is what we're doing next week, and it's also in the description of every episode if you aren't interested 1 week. So yeah, you can find out what we're watching and where to watch it on every week. So
okay,
yeah,
cool. So it's like a interactive movie club without contact.
Yeah. Yeah, we might open up like an email account. We're not in social media yet. We'll figure that part, the audience interaction, out at some point. But for now, we just want to watch the movies and talk about them, and hopefully people will join us for the ride. So we've already recorded like 2 episodes, and it's been really fun. So I'm excited about it. It's been taking up obviously more time because now I have 2 podcasts I gotta like manage and think about. But it's been fun to talk to him more too, because we went to high school together, but I don't see him that much. So that's been really, really good. So
Badass.
yeah, go check it out. All right, let's get into this week's topic, and this is one I came up with, and I don't remember when I thought about this. It's something that's been percolating in my head every once in a while, but I think I saw something somewhere, I don't know if it was on Twitter or TikTok or something, but basically, I think this person had a family member that was like recently passed, and they got really sick beforehand, and that's how they passed away. And this person was saying that they didn't really fear death at all until they saw how bad it was for this family member, like going through this like horrible sickness and then finally dying. So I'm just curious to you guys, are you afraid of death currently in your life? If you died tomorrow, would you be okay with it, or are you afraid and want to avoid it at all costs?
I mean, I think if I were to die tomorrow, I would be extremely disappointed because there's stuff that I haven't been able to do yet that I'm like working towards currently. So I would be like disappointed more than like scared, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for me where where it's scary is dying. Like the process of dying is scary. Death doesn't scare me. So like
Sure.
I don't know if that makes sense, but like I guess like how I would equate it to is like the moments leading up to death is what scares me, not the actual act of dying.
Yeah, like drowning sounds miserable, but like the being dead part, nah.
You don't feel anything. You're like,
Right.
just
And
the
like
part before it sucks ass.
yeah, and I think what scares me about dying the most is watching myself deteriorate. Because the only time that I've like really like been out of it is like when I've been like recovering from like surgery, or I had like my concussion, and it was just like I guess in the moment I didn't really think that I was like that out of it, but look, like in hindsight, I realized I was incredibly out of it. So maybe it'd be like that where like I don't even fucking realize it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a sudden death too. It could be like you get like T-boned and then that's it or something like that along those lines.
And you know, as long as I'm out like a light, I don't care. But
yeah, you don't be like disfigured and shit. But
yeah,
I've never really been afraid of death, and I think that's a two-part answer, because the first part of my life, I wasn't, because I was a super devout Christian. I'm like, I'm going to heaven, so it's fine. And now I'm just like, like I haven't, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. It's fine. Like I got no regrets. I got nothing in the works right now. It's all good. But also, like, I've never really been around anyone, like any family member, for an extended period of time that has like been going through the process of dying. Like I've had grandparents pass, but I've never like been around them a lot when that was going on. I remember distinctly though, one of my grandmas. I don't see her very often, but like I saw her, a few years ago, and then the next time I saw her was probably 2 years, and she was like super thin. It had like stark white hair, but previously she was dyeing it brown, and it was just like, whoa, like you don't look good. Like you look sickly. So that was kind of like a shock to the system. But I think I'm blessed with ignorance at this point, or I haven't really seen any death in my life up close. So I'm probably naive about it. But yeah, for now, it's fine.
I almost think it's
Gabe,
worse.
what about you?
Well, hang on. I
Gabe,
almost think that it's like worse when like you have like a grandparent or something like that you don't see that often, and you only see them like maybe like once or twice a year. So the deteriorations of their health are that much more stark. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, like I am really able to see the decline in mental capacity or physical capacity.
Yeah.
And versus like if you like let's just say like somebody in your life has like cancer, and you see them every week, every day, right? Then it's one of those things where you're so close in that you can't see the gradual, like the slow decline, right? So in some aspects, like not seeing it that often is almost worse in some ways. I'm not going to say that it's worse in every way, because I think that having that in your life every single day is still really tough. But
yeah, it's like the opposite of having like a young family member, like a new cousin that's like 2 years old, and every time you see him, it's like, whoa, you got like so much bigger since last time I saw you. It's like, oh no, you like look so much worse. But yeah, I think they're both bad for different reasons, like you said.
Yeah.
Like you see the contrast a lot more when you don't see him very often, but when you do, you see like a lot of the more like smaller moments and the smaller pain that is maybe even scarier. So yeah, I don't wish for either. But yeah, Gabe, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I'm pretty similar to Dayton, where like if I died tomorrow, I think I would be pretty disappointed, because I have a lot of things that I have left that I want to do, or like want to experience, but I would be dead. So I don't know if I would really like, I wouldn't have a choice in the matter, I guess. But like I'm not afraid exactly of like dying. I mean, we talked about this before, where like what do you think happens after we die or something like that. Somehow that topic I brought up on the podcast. But like my view about it is it just goes dark, and it's like, okay, I'm conscious now and I'm not conscious later. I'm not conscious, I'm dead. So like it's not, that part isn't terrifying. I think kind of going on like the fast versus quick, like dying versus dead, I would very much rather I think I would rather just get hit by a bus and just be dead than like a slow painful death, because my cousin passed away when he was 17 from cancer. When I went off to college, he ended up getting diagnosed, and I think he made about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I can't remember. And I was up in school, so I didn't see him a whole lot, and kind of similar. But Dane was saying, you come back every time, and he's just like way worse off, And I think on one hand, you get the closure of like being able to say goodbye to people when you want to, like you can like say what you want to do, or like you know, you can try and find peace that way. But in another case, like you're so physically incapable of doing things, and I think that would be the part that would upset me the most is like all the things that I want to do require me to be able-bodied. So like if I like got struck in with a sickness and I like was bedridden, it would destroy me. Like I think that would make me scared of death because then I would realize, all right, I can't do shit and I want to, you know?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's kind of where
that's
I'm at with it.
that's a different kind of depression for sure, and that just happens as you get older in general. I would
Mhm.
assume is like, oh, my knee's fucked all of a sudden. You
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
like 60, and it's like, but I mean, obviously you have the time in between to get the things
But you
done.
can
But
still do other stuff. Like, I mean,
yeah,
some of the stuff I want to do, it'd probably be more convenient when I'm in my 20s. I'm just gonna say it. Like, it's just gonna
just
be
throwing it out
more,
there.
it's gonna be easier. But it's not to say that there isn't other things. Like, I could, you can still travel when you're in your, much later in your life. You see people do it all the time. Uh,
Yeah,
and experience other type of things. It's just, I don't know. I feel like losing my able-bodiedness is probably the part that would freak me out the most because that's a really important thing to me to have.
yeah, for sure. Joseph, where's your head at?
I'm I'd be more worried about like my family and
Hmm.
like how they would take it. And like you guys and like my friends and stuff. Like
Hmm.
that's the part that would scare me the most is like I don't want to put people close to me through that. So I wouldn't say I'm afraid of it, but like me, it's one of those things like me personally, I know I can handle it. It's Gabe can attest to this, like my snowboarding. I put myself into situations I know I can handle, not necessarily other people. I don't, how many
Hmm.
times that we went to Mount Bohemia and I cliff myself out and it's like, oh, told you not to follow me. I can get down. Good luck. And it's like
Yeah,
I know I'd be fine, but I wouldn't want to put other people, that's the part that would hurt me the most
yeah.
or that I
Well,
would
and
be
yeah,
more
and
afraid of.
that's something that's obviously like very sad, and but
Yeah.
at least like I think that's the difference in this case between like not to get too heavy, but between like dying and suicide. Like
Yeah.
theoretically, if you die, it's not intentional. It wasn't planned.
Mhm.
Like it's and so anyway to that extent. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, no, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
yeah. Well, and something I haven't talked about yet, but I'm talking my nonchalantness about it. But I know like if I was in a dangerous situation, like for example, like I see a car coming at me, or if somebody like pulled a gun on me or something, my fight or flight would kick in, and I'd be freaking the fuck out. I mean, Gabe, you talked about a few episodes ago. I can't remember exactly what happened. There was like a near miss on the highway, and you're like buzzing for the next, like the rest of the drive, like next 30 minutes, because you just get that adrenaline surge, and you're
Yeah.
just like,
Hmm.
And even I was driving home from Thanksgiving. I forgot about this. It was like at night, just a two-lane highway, like one going my way, the other person coming the other way, and this fucker is just like right before I pass him starts just drifting into my lane, and
Hmm.
I had to move out of the way. He like saw it and curb. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he's probably drunk or something. But it's like
Hmm.
your adrenaline just kicks in. You're like, oh shit, I don't want to die. So like in certain situations that would happen, and I think you'd feel that tear that Dave mentioned before of like the moments leading up to death if it's that kind of situation. So
Hmm.
your body does have like that natural instinct to try to survive that you can't really overwrite.
I remember I read some like it was a Ask Reddit thread, and it was like what people who almost died, like what was it like? Like were you
Yeah.
scared and whatnot? And most people said that there was a lot of fear like building up to it, and the fight and flight was a very common theme. But a lot of it um came down to like they were kind of so out of it by the time they were like about to die that they were like very much so at peace. Like they didn't really like fear it. Like I remember reading one comment where this guy was like drowning in a pool and he said that like his last like conscious thought before he blacked out was this is really embarrassing. I'm gonna drown in front of my sister or something like that. Like he wasn't
Hmm.
like scared. It was just like oh this kind of sucks,
Hmm.
Yeah,
because
kind of
your
acceptance.
body is in such a weird I'm probably almost indescribable. I mean, they obviously tried in that thread, and but I think it would be very hard for us to try and comprehend what that would really feel like. I think there would
Yeah.
be fight or flight for sure, but after a while, I think your brain would definitely kind of shut down, you know. And a lot of those people who were like starting to bleed out, or like, you know, you just start losing consciousness, and your brain just slows down to a fucking crawl. So there's a lot of peace there, despite that being, that's kind of terrifying in its own way, but it's also kind of comforting. Like if you're about to die like that, like you don't really have the capacity to think that critically about the fear of death, if that makes sense. So
You have other
I
fish
kind
to
of think about that a
fry.
lot. Yeah, exactly. Like trying to keep the rest of you alive. But I find that kind of comforting, you know. I don't know. Something about that. That's a very comforting thought for me.
Yeah. That makes me think of just how fucked up war is. Like forcing, like especially back in the day with like the world wars, like sending these young kids into a scenario where the danger is so high, and people like I can't even imagine like sitting in a trench and being told like, all right, hop over and go, and hopefully you make it. Like
Oh, I'd hate
just
that.
the kind of stress that would do. I mean, it has been done to people in the PTSD and everything that's fucked up about war in this with around this context. Like it's fucked up. Like it's. I mean, some people are more suited to it than others, but Jesus Christ, like being asked to be in a situation where the chance of dying is that high is. Like, I'm not afraid to die, but I'm not gonna put myself in that kind of scenario. Like I'm not gonna just
Sure.
Not trying
willingly
to
enter.
die either, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to enter no man's land right now.
Yeah, you don't want to roll the dice.
Yeah.
Keep those rolls as
Uh,
low as possible.
another facet to this question I wanted to ask you guys. Maybe I'm just weird because I have these kind of thoughts, but
Probably.
is there any person that you know of, doesn't have to be family, any person that exists in the world right now that you are afraid of when they are gonna die? Because I have two big ones. Um, First one is Donald Trump, because when he dies, no, even if it is like live stream and he says before he dies, "I'm dying of natural causes," and dies, the amount of conspiracy theories that'll come out when he dies from his base is going to be absolutely insane.
I
You know what I
think
mean? Like,
I think it depends. I think saying like right now, if he died, yes, but he's what, 70 something?
he's old, yeah.
77. He's kind of old.
So in 15, 20 years, that might be a very generous
75.
number. Yeah, so 75. So let's say 15 years, he makes it to 90. Is is he gonna have that strong of a following in 15 years? You
Yes.
know, it.
It might
I
be
mean,
it might be
that's easy
smaller,
to
but I
say
think that
now. I mean,
yeah, that's what it feels like anyway. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure if he got into a car accident tomorrow and was killed, yeah. But I feel like if it's natural causes and he's in his 90s or whatever,
Dude, but
by that point,
Joseph, he's the healthiest president that we've ever had, though.
I fucking forgot about that part.
Also, these are the same people that think John F. Kennedy Jr. is coming back. It's like,
Oh, I forgot about
and
that.
that's a subsection of QAnon. But like maybe
Yeah.
the number of people isn't that big, but there is going to be a very passionate subset of people in this country who are going to have conspiracy theories till the day they die about his death, and that just scares me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a death that I'm afraid of when it's going to happen. And then the other one is more on the light side, but not really. Like, as everyone knows, I'm a massive fan of One Piece, and it's probably not going to end for another 5-6 years. And if the writer Ichiro Oda dies like before that, like, God, that'll be fucking sad. And like, they have I know, like they said before, like they have like the ending to the series like in a safe, and if he does pass, then they'll release it and say what his vision was. But because like just recently, the writer for Berserk, which has been a long running manga for a long time, died at like 55, because what happens is these writers like work themselves to the bone and just don't take care of their health, and they pass like very early. So they're getting better about that. Like the writer of One Piece, it has mandatory every 3 weeks he has to take a week off, just to like maintain his health. But stuff like that where like series are very ongoing and you just like want to see them end, and if the creator passes during that time, it's just really sad that like no one wants to see it. So I'm hope that doesn't happen, but it could happen, and that kind of scares me sometimes. Of like maybe this story won't end up the way it was intended to by this person who's like put 22 years of his life into this thing. But anyway, those are like some random thoughts of people I've had. But I was curious if you guys have any people that you know that you're worried about their passing.
I mean, I didn't imagine those are the two people you were going to say, Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real.
Honestly, I guessed on one of them. I will say that. I did figure...
Well, and to be clear, for those two, like, they're more susceptible because Donald Trump is old, and mangakas / writers of manga are notorious for working too hard. So, like, it's not just like a random person, oh, they might die. It's like there's more cause than usual, but yeah,
Right.
I understand. Those are very weird polls.
I thought you were going to be like, oh, yeah, like, I'm scared for, like, my brother, and I'm scared for,
Yeah.
like,
I was thinking my
or
parents.
something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
you can
said-
say your parents. You know, I'm
Didn't
just
you
yeah,
say
could really have.
non-family member?
It can be non-family. I
Okay.
thought of those because, like I said, there's more of a cause than usual, or more like history than usual. But yeah, I'm just weird like that. Like I have these thoughts, but yeah, you can talk about your family if you want to. I'm just curious if you guys had any people that you've thought about their death.
I mean, I've had like the whole like we talked about call to the void or whatever. What the hell was the terminology that we used?
When you like, are you like, man, I could yeet myself into traffic right now?
Yeah,
like-
yeah, like those. I forget the name.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, I have those about like my parents a lot, which is like pretty terrifying. Like thinking about, because I mean I don't get to see them as much as I used to, like when I was growing up and living away. So it's like, I don't know. I think like it probably happened because the last time I saw my grandpa on my dad's side, I remember kind of having a random intrusive thought like, it might be the last time I see him, and it was. So it's just one of those things I think about a lot when I'm like in rare company with people, I guess. So I mean, I think parents are easy choice for me to think of those type of people where I don't see them a lot, and I mean they're not like decrepit and old by any means.
Yep.
But like I don't know. You don't.
Yeah, I
never
mean it's
know
the
what's gonna
class.
happen.
Anyone could die at any point.
Yeah.
For any reason, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So those are my two big ones, I'd say. Not a manga writer. No.
But for the record, I care about my parents. I'm just I was trying to be spicy for the podcast.
I wasn't trying to imply that you didn't love your parents.
No, I know. I gotta make that clear. I gotta put on record.
Do they listen? They're like, Jacob.
How dare you?
Donald Trump over me?
Oh, God. If Donald Trump could die without any repercussions, I don't know if I'd be sad about that, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in right now. Dayton is writing that shit down.
Oh my God.
That's just too good.
Yeah.
That's just too good.
Anything else you guys want to say on this topic?
I can't think of a serious answer on that to your question, but along with your manga writer, if George R.R. Martin dies before he finishes doesn't he have 2 more books? I'm pretty
He's
sure.
not gonna make it.
know at
He's
this
not
point.
gonna make it. There's no
I
way.
know, and
I don't
then
think he's gonna do it.
and then the HBO series is gonna be the definitive edition of Game of Thrones, and it's just gonna be so disappointing
Yeah.
because they start off so strong. So
Hasn't he said he's like scared to finish it now because people hated the ending of the show so much? He's like afraid he's gonna fuck up.
probably. I mean, I know he has people that know specific arcs incredibly well so that he doesn't like retcon a bunch of shit. Because like
Yeah.
I mean, there's like what is it 4 or 5 books he has done, and they're very dense books. Like there's a lot of shit that happens, and I know he's had people that like, oh yeah, no, you can't do this because this person talked to this person about this thing and blah blah blah.
Dude.
Yeah.
He doesn't even remember his own shit.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
he's old as fuck. Like,
Dude, imagine if you had somebody in your life that was like, oh no, Dayton, like you said something like 20 years ago and you can't, like, I know
go
you
back
don't
on your
remember
word.
this, but like you can't go back on that. Like that's when people talk to us about like the podcast and like, oh yeah, like you said this one thing on this episode, and I'm just like, I don't even remember recording that episode.
that shit drives me nuts. When people, I mean, I love it when people listen to podcasts. But, like sometimes there'll be people who like will catch up. You know, they'll listen to 3 or 4 episodes, And our friend Emily is notorious of this. Love you, Emily. But sometimes she'll message me and just be like, "This thing you said 5 weeks ago at this point is fucking bullshit." And it's like, I don't even remember what I said.
I drink during all of those episodes. Who knows? I know more often than not, I end the podcast like, I was pretty drunk for that one. And so yeah, who knows?
Right. So I need someone who's like listens to all of our podcasts and then it's just like, "Hey Gabe, just so you know, this is what you said." Boom, word for word. You know?
Yeah. But I don't want to go on a mini rant here, but just about storytelling and story writing. I'm kind of surprised that Railroad Martin didn't plan out the overall arcs he wanted.
Did you call him Railroad Martin?
Yeah, because it's middle of this RR. He's fucking Railroad Martin, dude.
What?
You haven't heard it before? I feel
no.
The only thing off the rails is you, Jacob.
That's fair enough. But he's writing this like fantasy. Yeah, it's getting to me. He's writing this fantasy epic, and he didn't plan out the like at least the idea for the ending beforehand. Like that's I don't know, because like
he has the plan. Like he even talked to like the showrunners of HBO about like how he wants it to end. Like
he told them how it ended.
Yeah, there's like the macros, right, of like how it is, like the big picture he has, but like conversations and like there's still quite a bit leading up. I mean, there's 2.5 seasons that of show that went past the books,
right?
I mean, there's still a lot to go.
It just seems like of the stories I'm aware of when they are planned out excuse me, when they're the more in detail planned out, the better they are, because you can do callbacks or foreshadowing a lot easier. Like two examples are Attack on Titan and One Piece. Those are both been planned out since pretty much Inception. So like when you have that knowledge of what's going to happen, you can like string things way earlier and be like, oh, like heads up, like be like there's a little hint. So yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he's just scared to finish him at this point. But I'm a little surprised he's forgetting stuff in character arcs that he's like not being faithful to or whatever it is.
Okay, but like you've watched Game of Thrones. From what I've heard, the books, I haven't read the books, but I've heard the books are like twice as dense, twice as convoluted as what you see in the show. Like from what I haven't read it.
Yeah, they probably like dumb it down for the show to make sense, not
like
go too long.
I mean, even I watched the show for a second time once before it ended because I'm not going back at this point. And I was like, holy shit, I forgot all of the, and granted, it's watching a TV show, but like, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that happen, and yeah, it's a pretty convoluted show. And I think from what I've heard is you can very much tell that in his writing, that he kind of started off just like, oh, this is crazy, this is cool, this is fun, and then like I do think you're right, he is kind of pulling at strings trying to figure out
putting
how
the track down as he's going along it.
Yeah,
because like the perfect example, I'm sorry I'm using all anime references, perfect example is Dragon Ball, right? If anybody's saying about Dragon Ball, the writer just kind of makes things up as he goes to be more fun, but because of that, the power scaling just get absolutely nuts. Like he has to keep making Goku stronger and stronger and stronger, and then there's making up shit at this point. To like, oh yeah, he's in God mode, and now he's in.
It's anime. It's all made up.
I know, but it's like there's no rules, Joseph. It's like, okay, now he's God mode blue. Okay, I need something else. Okay, now he's God mode blue, Ultra Instinct. They just like keep, because the series doesn't fucking end, and they keep having to come up with shit. And it's like, if you would have planned this out ahead of time, it could have been a lot more satisfying. But anyway, that's my rant about anime and Dragon Ball shit. But anyway, going back to Death, Dayton. I need final thoughts on Death.
Transition.
No, I think that. Well, no, I mean, I think like real answer, just anybody who's close to me. Like it's been a long time since I've had to deal with someone who's close with me dying. But keep with the whole anime theme, Jacob. I will say that fuck it, I'm gonna say it. In Boruto, okay, so Naruto's sequel.
Yeah.
When there's an episode where I'll just say a main character dies, except it's in like a very like cool way, and it still is like sad, but it's not like like actually grieving. It's just like, man, that kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah. Is it like you just want that character around more?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
because
just
he was a
like,
cool
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
But
yeah. And it's a fictional story too, so it's like you
mm-hmm.
could have just wrote it so he was still alive, but
Yeah.
um,
And if
yeah.
you die before me, I am gonna go to your funeral and give a speech, and it's gonna be, he was a cool guy.
He was a cool
Walk away.
guy.
Like
He
that
died
one
in a
guy in
cool way.
Boruto.
He died in a really cool way.
He died in a
Heart
motorcycle
failure is
accident. When
badass.
he was trying to jump 40 cars in a motorcycle jump, and he couldn't do it, but it was badass.
He only got 39.
Well, I guess bring an update. Now I'm curious. Like we're gonna episode. What are the top fictional deaths for you guys? I mean, I guess that's kind of spoilery, but for ones that are well known, what are some top fictional deaths? I know I'm throwing it out at you. Here's an easy one. Uncle Ben. That's a classic. In Spider-Man, which has been done better and worse over time, but that's a classic big one. There's I won't say it, but if you watch One Piece, it's probably been spoiled for you already. There's a big death in One Piece that is even like I got spoiled for me before I got to it, but even watching it, it still destroyed me. Like that's the thing with fictional stories, but if they're written well enough, even if you're like know about it ahead of time, sometimes it just still absolutely wreck you, which is I say love good storytelling, but
I think
it's
one that fucked me up, and so Alyssa and I rewatched Harry Potter. Well, we started at 5 because we all know that the first 4 are So we started at that's when it gets darker, and I don't know. The first 3 are like kids movies, kinda. I don't.
yeah.
Order of the Phoenix is my favorite one. Not the point. Anyway, shit. I want to say Half Blood. No, in Deathly Hallows. Not the point. But 2 minor characters die, which I think it's okay to spoil at this point. But it's Dobby
Yeah, you're
and
fine. It's Harry Potter. Yeah.
Dobby and Hedwig. Those 2 really fucked me up because they were like not main characters, but they were always there. I shouldn't say always, but they were like pretty integral, but like not at the same time. Like Hedwig, his owl was always really close to him, and obviously everybody loves Dobby. So like, and I watched those movies in theaters before I read the books, so like I didn't even know those 2 were coming. So that hit me pretty hard too. But those are 2 near the top for me.
Yeah. Another gimme thing in the Marvel stuff is Endgame. I mean, come on. We all knew Robert Downey Jr.'s contract was coming up. We all thought it might happen, but goddamn, that scene fucks me up every time I watch it. Combined with the funeral scene after, Jesus Christ. So it's so well done, and I am in a puddle of tears when I watch that movie. Gabe, you have any big ones you can think of?
I'm trying to rack my brain, and I can't really think of anything like coming to mind like immediately. I feel like a lot of the times where they just like die suddenly in the show is like, or a movie or whatever, usually what takes me off guard. It's like, oh, and you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones was notorious for that, right? We already talked about, but I mean,
yeah, and it's hard to just point at one character, but a lot of characters just get off, and you're like, oh, I kind of like them. And
yeah, I mean, I had heard about the Red Wedding beforehand, and like, oh yeah, it's bad, and I'm like, yeah, but goddamn, I love Rob Stark, man. he was going places, He had things to do, and he had a new hot girlfriend.
He was a hot young professional,
His wife. It was his wife. They were married.
Oh, his wife at that point. Yeah, they were great, and I'm like, I like this actor. He's awesome, and then they just unceremoniously killed him, and it was very sad.
Hope you weren't planning on watching that, Dayton.
What show is this?
Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't watched a lot of shows or movies lately, like let alone like ones that have like big deaths in them. I don't know. I do remember you, Jacob, watching Infinity War. And you
when
just
Spider-Man
sobbing when Spider-Man died, and
Dude,
I was like,
"How can you not?
I remember thinking, this is sad, and then I heard you sobbing, like, okay, now I can't pay attention to the movie because Jacob's crying because it was not subtle.
Do you guys cry when you watch stuff? or not really?
I have more recently.
Very, very rarely. Maybe one movie.
Dayton, you
Within the
remember?
last, I would say 4 years, it has like jumped up in the amount of movies I cry during.
Yeah. Do you think was there any turning points particularly, or is it just kind of getting older?
So I can point to it. I don't really want to talk about it a whole lot.
Okay, that's fair.
But no, there's definitely I can pinpoint the time frame of when. And I don't know. I think part of it has to do with like more empathy with my family and like with having my nieces and nephews especially. That's kind of helped it a lot. It helped, I don't know, encouraged it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think there's definitely like I could almost I think it was either 7 or 7 pounds that I watched that fucked me up.
Mm.
And yeah, that it's been literally since then, since
Yeah.
I've saw it because I watched those around the same time too, so that doesn't help me. But
Yeah. I have a similar story, and it's very on brand for me. But like when I was growing up, I never cried in anything. So I was like, I'm a man. Toxic
Yeah.
masculinity. Boys don't cry at shit. But when I was studying abroad in New Zealand, is when I started watching anime. And for some reason, after I started watching anime, I cry like a fucking baby at everything now. Not even just anime anymore, but like I cry so much. Last night I watched a movie. Granted, it was an anime movie, but it's on HBO Max called Ride Your Wave. Would recommend. Kind of a romantic comedy about surfer girl falls in love with firefighter boy dies, and then things happen. Just in this movie, I was a puddle. It was just, it fucking got me. It got me good, and I was crying harder than I have in a while, honestly. But I at least like tear up often when watching shows and stuff now. I don't know what like specific thing broke inside me, but I just like feel emotions a lot more. Like I can connect a lot more with the characters than I was able to before. So
I think it's a part of being older, though. You know,
yeah.
like you can relate to the characters more as you get older. Not that you can't when you're younger, because like there's definitely films meant for younger audiences that like try and get you to relate to them. But typically, I feel like they're not. Hey, let's make this kid cry. Like they're gonna like let's I don't know. They're trying to make the kid have fun. You know.
I think it's more even, and it's not dig at you at your maturity level or anything, but I think it's more like what Dane said before when you're a kid of like if a character dies, you're like, oh, the character was cool. Like I wish I got to see more of them, as opposed to like I'm feeling what the characters are feeling in this moment. Like I can relate to them and have empathy for them.
Yeah.
So it's just a different level. Of,
I mean, I think the only time that I've really like felt like strong emotions are when like it's something that I've sunk a lot of time into. Like Naruto, that's a lot of time with those characters, like watching them. And then like Harry Potter, that was like a big one for me too. And like Cyberpunk was another one. I spent a lot of time with Cyberpunk as well. And there was like for like movies and stuff like that, I feel like I can't learn enough about like these characters in like 2 hours. I mean, granted, like the Marvel movies and stuff like that are like, you know, it's a series, but for like a standalone 2 hour movie, it's like I'm not gonna develop enough understanding of this person to give a shit about him in 2 hours. Like, so for that reason, I'm probably not gonna feel particularly moved, despite being able to like empathize with them and be like, man, like yeah, that situation sucks for that character, but I don't know him well enough to be like, I'm a cry. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna need a tissue.
Yeah.
I have noticed too. It was around that time. It's not just sad moments in movies, like really inspiring and exciting moments.
I'm the same way, Joseph. Like hype, like motivational speeches and like for sports movies, fucking get me, dude.
Fucking, I noticed it. I was watching Moana with my family, and like I don't know if you guys have seen Moana, but like she finds the like all the boats in the cave, and it's like this,
and you're like
this like climactic moment, and it's like, holy fuck, she's so excited! Oh my god! Like,
dude,
and
I'm the same way, Joseph, dude.
I was watching this with like my fucking nieces and nephews, and I was like, I need to step out. Like, this is too much. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the same thing. It's not only just sad moments, it's also just like super hype shit or like a character getting something they've been trying to get for a long time or discovering something like that that means a lot to them. You're just like, fuck yeah, man, and you're just like, crying. It's
Well,
great.
we've already talked about Endgame, but when I don't know, with the scene, the on your left scene,
Oh,
every
yeah,
time, puddle, every time.
yeah. As soon as he says on your left, you start crying. You don't stop for the next 10 minutes because
Yeah.
everyone shows up. You're like, Avengers fucking assemble, let's go.
Yep.
So hype.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
that scene gets me.
Yeah. Gabe and Dayton, fucking feel your feelings, man. You guys gotta get another level.
I do. It's just these characters I don't feel anything for because they don't
Yeah,
develop
They're not
them
grounded
well
in
enough.
reality. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying like I don't know. It's hard for me. I think kind of in the same boat with Dane, or where it's like a couple hours is really hard for me to like find a way to connect with them. So I don't know. I have to be like feel like I don't know, like I know them in a weird way. Like, obviously I know their characters, but like if I feel like some form of like emotional attachment or understanding of who they are and why they are the way they are, then I get it.
yeah. Maybe there'll be a turning point at some point for you guys. I know I've heard some people say that like after they have kids, anything in movies involving kids just absolutely destroys them because you have that actual like connection you can relate to directly to your life. So, not saying you're gonna have kids or not, but yeah, it might happen at some point. But anyway, that is our show for this week. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, you can find our show on Mondays on YouTube and podcast services. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe to the Red String Movie Podcast. Please give us some help on that. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.